Thank you.
Can I also just ask you to speak specifically to the STAR document that looks at financial disclosure in South Africa, which is a document that possibly, I mean, a lot of it highlights the problems of our form, but it is looking at a form in the context of our specific country. It's published a couple of months ago, May 2026, and it's at page 311.
So this document titled Financial Disclosure Form and E-Disclosure System of South Africa, this was an assessment conducted at the request of the Department of Public Service and Administration to both look at the form as well as the e-disclosure system and how it functions currently. So effectively what we've done in this report is the earlier documents I mentioned around designing an effective form to apply similar principles to the South African context to assess the current form against these international standards and good practice to determine what are some of the omissions in the South African context currently that should be considered and some of the priorities. So what I've done in the base document, the main notes, is to really identify the most important issues that frame the overall context and challenges. But the second document on page 311, this gets into a lot more of the technical nitty-gritty according to each disclosure category to say these are the 2-3 additional pieces of information that one should ask about, for example, your property, your vehicle, etc., to have a more full form. And so this is, I think, when one considers, recommendations for reform or what this could look like in future, I think there's a lot of kind of more in-depth technical guidelines that we've prepared to share our recommendations tailored to the South African context.
If we move off the form,
we should. Sorry to interrupt. We should not forget that Dr. Schoeman was to read the whole of 25, and I assumed even the sub-paragraphs. But please continue with your point, Mr. Shaskalsi.
No, we have actually reached the end of 25. Yes.
Must have been asleep. Apologies.
But to move off the form itself and then to the institutional and operational framework, assuming you get the form right, you still need an institutional framework that will respond to the information in the form. And this is the issue that you address from page 23. And maybe if you can...
Let me ask a question that I think goes to weaknesses and which I think is relevant to what you have dealt with already. Some officials can be quite astute in hiding their wealth and can fill in their disclosure forms in such a manner that no suspicion is raised. In such a case, and absent blanket lifestyle audits, what would trigger a review that may culminate in a lifestyle audit? I'm asking this because it is crucial that such officials should not fall through the cracks.
It's a very good point. So in the South African context, but also in international experience, One of the issues that can trigger a more substantive investigation, such as a lifestyle audit, is, for example, a whistleblower complaint or, say, an intradepartmental complaint that they suspect that there is maybe something suspicious happening with an individual that might warrant a more substantive investigation. But this is also a core part of the verification process and why verification is so important. An official may lie on their disclosure form, and we would want to detect that. And part of the reason why I focused so much on the e-disclosure system and the question of integrations with existing databases is around how we can effectively measure the disclosures against the truth and verify that it is accurate and what they state there is correct. So in that verification process, if there are either discrepancies that come out that might warrant an investigation, but beyond that, good practice is to also consider additional investigations or complaints that may arise, or you might, in a case where you verify disclosure and it's entirely correct, but there are some red flags that raise suspicions, and it might be a case of somebody having a very large financial means that you might question why is that? The form is entirely correct, but why is this person able to afford so much? Maybe that is something that then warrants further investigation. And so you can use a